Um, so thank you very much for inducting me into the Hall of Fame. It's a huge honor. Not one that I think was ever on my bucket list, but one that I'm proud to say that I can add to it. A lot of people probably don't know, the summer before my freshman year at UWM, there's a very memorable moment in the Viall household, as there usually is on the weekly. But I found myself in my parents' bedroom, convulsively crying and begging my dad to call Sandy and telling her I wasn't coming. I didn't want to play. I was so scared about the things that I knew I'd have to face, and even probably more terrified of the things I didn't know. Going from high school sports to college, as many of the fellow athletes in the room know, is a huge difference. You go from practicing maybe 5 times a week to practicing 2 to 3 times a day. And it was something I didn't want to do. And so my mom, looking at her daughter crying, begging my dad to call, says, keep in mind, a month before I'm supposed to show up on campus. Begging for my dad to do something, and my dad just very coolly and calmly told me that he'd be more than happy to call, but didn't I owe it to myself to try? Even though it was a challenge, didn't I owe it to myself to try it? And if I didn't like it, he'd be more than happy to support my decision to not play. Well, it goes without saying what I decided. So I did end up obviously and playing. But it was that mentality of facing your adversity and amongst fear and unknown that continued to be groomed in my 4 years at UWM as an athlete. Day in and day out, having to face a lot of challenges, early morning practices, things that you never thought that you would ever be able to accomplish. And I'm proud to be able to say that it helped me and it's formed me into the person I am today, knowing that I only owe it to myself to go after the things I aspire to do, touch the lives of others in a way that may not be necessarily the norm and maybe against the grain, but you can face the adversity. So I really want to thank the athletic department for giving me the opportunity to call myself a Panther, really. And the supporting staff of the athletic department. I think a lot of people can agree. It's great to see some of the same faces there, and always having a really great crowd and people supporting me, from coaches to staff members to other players on different teams. And I also want to thank Coach Bacham and all of my coaches for seeing the potential of the player that I could be and making me face those challenges every day, even when I didn't think that I had it in me. Never even having sights of playing college basketball. Never even thinking about a scholarship when I was younger. Never thinking I'd go on and play professionally. They saw that potential in me, and they pushed me every day. So thank you. To my teammates, which some of them were supposed to come, they weren't able to come. Really thanking them for being there. I mean, they were there with me. Without them, I wouldn't be up here. If you look at my assist average, it's not very impressive. So my teammates helped me be here. You can't score unless you don't get the ball. So they were there for the blood, sweat, and tears. They taught me how to be a leader. They also showed me how to enjoy being an athlete. And they have memories that I share with them and stories we never really tire of telling each other. So I attribute a huge amount of my success to them. I'd like to thank my amazing group of friends, many of which are here today, sorry. Without them, honestly, I don't think I would have probably made it through. They brought me a lot of comic relief, showing up at games, even like when we played teams like Lithuania, and making comical signs and cheering and chanting, and bringing a lightness to the game that I think sometimes you don't get. Dressing up as cheerleaders and pretending to give away frozen pizzas and pajama pants. But also being not just comic relief, but helping me with my, some sanity. When you're a Division I athlete and you're practicing all the time, and we have one of the longest seasons of all the sports, and we step on campus here in preseason training, play. When everyone goes home on winter break, you're there alone, and the streets are empty, and everybody's enjoying a month back home. They were there, from roommates to other athletes, and I'm really happy to say that a lot of them that are here were also former Panther athletes. They all are UW alumni, well, except for one, Steve. So I'm very, very fortunate for that, and so I thank you for being there for me, and still being a very integral part of my life today. As it was mentioned a couple times, the 100 children that we have, I do want to thank my amazing, ridiculously large, but amazing siblings, all 10 of them. They're not actually all here, only one of them is here. We have another table available, but they're probably the best cheerleading squad a girl could ask for. Not everybody gets a little mini Panther and a little mini Bumblebee with signs that say like I roar for 2-4 at their home games. So having them is awesome. And then also having an older brother who is also an athlete, sharing 6 a.m. practice times at Dachi. We were running lines, he was running laps, but having that camaraderie and having a sibling, he transferred from Madison, so it's a win too in that regard. Makes a big difference. But probably most importantly, I want to thank my parents. They never cease to kind of amaze me. And they're like the beacon. They're like shining examples of believing the odds. They're the first ones to teach me that even if it screws the crap out of you, you owe it to yourself to shoot for the best. Knowing that you're going to so much career.